Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the She's Next Level podcast. If you're watching on video, I have my girl Kelsey here. And it's so interesting. Through a friend, I got to learn about you, my friend Steph. And I have been diving into like feminine energy, and I've always had a fascination around relationships since 2020, since I had my spiritual awakening. And I've been through this whole freaking journey. And I feel like what really drew me to Kelsey is the way that you describe feminine energy is like so different than ever before. And that's why we're here. We're going to be talking about the internal masculine and developing the internal masculine, because that's what really drew me to you more than anything. And I feel like a lot of your audience and my audience may have like struggled. They're high achiever, right? They're girls with big dreams, and they may have struggled with this concept of like they don't want to be too masculine, but you need to develop that internal masculine. That's something that you heavily relayed in the beginning of the book from Chasing the Chosen. And so I really want to dive deeper into this
Yes, I
topic
love
with
it.
you, because the moment I read that chapter, I was like, okay, I need to dive deeper into this, because there's definitely a lot of nuances to things, to general concepts. And I want to be able to give your
Mhm.
audience and my audience a little bit more of a deeper dive into like what the fuck that means and how can we apply it to our day-to-day lives, and especially for ambitious women in balancing the two. So for the people that don't know you though, that are new to you in your world, what do you do? And
Yes, hello. Thank you so much for having me. What a good intro. It's so fun. Yeah, I'm so excited. My name is Kelsey. I am a writer and I'm also these titles are so funny, but it's like a feminine and masculine energetic expert, and I teach love, sex, and feminine energy. And ultimately, my work really does help women come into the highest and truest expression of themselves so that they can, yes, create love and union, but also just really, I'm going to say, quote unquote, manifest everything they're actually meant for. I actually have frameworks for all of my own spiritual teachings, and in my work we don't manifest, we find union, and that's really the key to all of it. But yeah, that's who I am. Super excited to be here. I love geeking out on masculine energy. It's my favorite. So yeah.
so what does union mean? What exactly does union mean?
Yeah, so union ultimately is when internally you're going to there's multiple parts, okay? So you're going to find union with God or universe or source, whatever name you want to put towards that energy, which to me is an energy that's within all things. I know the word God can be triggering to people, but I do love that word. So union would be like you and God. So this would be you no longer moving from false parts of yourself, okay? So you're not moving from the wounded part that doesn't feel good enough or unworthy. You're finally in union with the true you, your true identity, which is worthy, whole, enough, all of the things. So there's union like that. There's union between your masculine and your feminine energy, right? So your inner feminine and masculine are totally intertwined. They're in that hierogamic union, that hierogamic marriage of souls internally, which leads to you meeting your masculine in the flesh as well. A lot of my work does revolve around like twin flame rhetoric and like divine counterparts. I just don't use that verbiage because there's just like so much like hijacking around it. And then the other union that's happening is a union between who you are on the inside and who you're allowing the world to see. So a lot of the times we're like, the reason that we don't feel good is because we know who we are internally, but then the way that we're showing up, there's a disconnect, right? We're scared, there's fears of judgment, there's performance, there's chasing, etc., all these things. And there's this huge gap between who we actually are and who the world sees us. So we want to find union with that too. All of these things are ultimately going to dissolve the separation between us and our external reality, which is literally just an illusion, right? All of this separation is happening internally. And then it keeps us separated from the mansion, the dream life, all the things that you know in your heart you're meant to have. When you find union in these ways, you then find union, right? Like merging with the things you're trying to manifest and the things that you know are meant for you.
Right, yeah, because the universe always has to be in balance, and so that is creating ultimately that balance for you. That totally makes sense. It's so funny how you like
Totally.
describe it, and like the way that I've learned it, it's so different, but it's so like it comes back to the same thing of wholeness, feeling whole and feeling secure and feeling like you already have everything. You don't need anything outside of you to feel a certain way, to have a
Yeah.
certain thing. So, okay, so then what led you to discovering, like, I want to know the story. I want to know the story behind what led you to discovering union.
Yeah. It's super interesting because when I was working with the publishers for this book, they were like, okay, we need your sources for everything. And I'm like, I'm like the channel and like the vessel. Like, what's the source? You know, like, I'm literally like downloaded these concepts. It's so crazy because since I was a little girl, like I always knew, I always just saw, like I've been awake my whole life. Like this is like one of those, there's veils, but like since I'm a little girl, I was like very different from everyone. I just knew, um, like I just saw, I don't want to say certain things, but I just like saw through a lot of different illusions in society, like governmental structures and all these different things, like truly as like a young girl. Like I remember like grade 4, I was like, the government is not on our side, like they don't love us,
Mm,
like, and like I was just like such
yep.
a weirdo, like I just knew. And then probably when I was like 17, I went through a really deep awakening of like the financial structures and the banks. And then I went through, when I was pregnant, I went through a really deep awakening of big pharma. I gave birth really naturally. So like it's just been this entire process. When I was about 21, um I just had this like very, I don't know what I was, there was not a lot of social media back then, okay? Like I think Instagram just started. So there wasn't a lot of social media. There was not a lot out there. And came across something about like twin flames, and something in my soul was like, oh, like I'm part of that group of souls that are here to like find my like mirrored divine counterpart. And then I had like my false twin, which was my ex-husband. And then, yeah, it's like I gave birth to my son fully naturally, came fully into my power. Like that was like really like where like my feminine started to really come online. I started to come into my power. I started my business while I was on mat leave, quit my career in the hospital, and then it all just kind of started to like unravel. And one of the things that just very quickly started to happen was I started to just having like, I started to have this like almost like, so I've always been able to see the world as like a metaphor. So very similar, like before we started this call, we were chatting about how like everything is like reflecting things. So I literally developed a mirror method. This was like 8 years ago, the mirror method to like help clients heal their wounds. And I just could always see like the metaphors of reality and what they meant about people. Like I could always see that. And I could always see like the strings that pulled people. And I could always see people's shadow. So it made it like really uncomfortable, honestly, like walking through the world. Like I never liked going out. I didn't like being in large crowds because I would literally just talk to someone and instantly like feel and see their darkness, their shadow, everything, and could literally like dissect like their entire life, all their wounds, just like I could just see it very clearly. And then very quickly, I started to be able to feel into my body, like my masculine and my feminine, and started to like literally go through phases of awakening where I'd be like awakening my inner masculine, and it would all be like, I'd literally be going through things that like a man would go through. And then I would like shift into my feminine, then go through crazy feminine awakenings. And then it just like all just kind of built on top of each
That
other
is
and came
so
to life, you
interesting.
know?
That is so, I've never heard
Mm-hmm.
anyone say that of like, oh, I had an awakening with the masculine, awakening with the feminine, and then they just merged together. I've even like out of all the feminine gurus that I've listened to for like years and years on YouTube, and some of the books that I've read and just the knowledge that I've attained around feminine energy, I never really heard anyone. I think this is the biggest thing that most women struggle with, is how do they
Yeah.
balance out that masculine energy and the feminine energy, because in my experience at least, what I found is when I started learning about feminine energy is when I decided I don't want to be masculine anymore. I can't do this anymore. Like it feels too good to
Mhm.
be feminine. So I can't be doing the most. I can't be going back into that way. And so like it was kind of a struggle for me. So what do you have to say about that? Like I know a lot of women deal
Mhm.
with that. So what does that mean when women go through that? I'm sure you get women like that all the time too, that are high achievers and they don't want to fall back into that. I don't know if it's wounded masculine or what the fuck it is, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I would actually say that the majority of it is actually not, and like I love that you're sharing that, but like I would say like the majority of what we think is masculine energy isn't actually, it's like totally wounded feminine energy. Like the majority of women are not too masculine. They're actually not masculine enough. They're in a wounded feminine energy. And it's basically like internally what's happening is like your inner feminine. It's like she has no inner masculine, no inner father. So she's like, fine, I'm going to go do it myself. Like that's the energy. And that's why so many high achieving, ambitious women are so exhausted because they're not actually sourcing from like true masculine potential. They're just like rolling up their sleeves and they're like, I don't need a man. I'm going to go take care of myself anyways. I'm independent. That's kind of the energy.
You're calling me out.
Yeah. So I think like for a long, right? Like, cause like I was literally just running a training about this. Like, yeah, it's crazy because, and this is normal too. Like anyone listening, it's totally normal to, you know, in the Tao, it talks about how you jump from one side, you bounce from one side of the corridor until you find the center. And like, this is a really natural phase of like awakening where it's like a pendulum, right? Like even with people when they're setting boundaries, right? They go from like no boundaries to like such like intense boundaries that you're like chill. Like I don't know if you've ever had a girlfriend who starts setting boundaries, but you're like, whoa, relax, you know? She's
Girl,
like,
that was me.
I don't want to
But
share about
I
this
was the
because
extremist.
yeah, right? You're
I've
like,
retired
whoa, like I
extremism
was
this year. Why is
okay,
that
that's
though? Why
great.
do
But
we
like, you
do
know, it's
that?
almost like it's like ridiculous.
Like, why?
It's just like a
Why?
swinging, it's a protection mechanism, right? Yeah, it's like it's tough, right? Like again, it's like human nature. Like I think it's like when you go from being nothing, like no boundaries, there's so much pain that you still have to let go of that you go into like almost like an overdrive protective mechanism on the other side where it's like super intense. You're like, girl, I was just asking for like your cookie recipe, like chill out, you know?
Cookie
But it's just like
recipe.
they're so hard. And then
Give me the
you know,
fucking
it's like,
cookie
whoa,
recipe,
like there's no
bitch.
need for boundaries. Yeah, it's
That
like,
would be me. I'd be
that's
like, I
it,
don't
you
give a
know? And
fuck.
she's like,
Give me
this
the
is a
fucking
boundary. And you're
recipe.
like, okay. You're like, that is not a boundary, but okay. And then finally come to center, right? So I did the same thing in my feminine journey where I was like, so I've always been like the craziest high functioning person I've ever met. And then when I went super deep into feminine energy, I like gained 20 pounds. I put my business to the side, went all in on acting, all in on my degree. And after a year, I was like, wait, like, where am I? And the reality is like each and every single one of us is like a mixture of masculine and feminine energy. And like, even without my wounding, I'm extremely driven, I'm extremely ambitious, and I have a deep desire to self actualize. Like, that's just truth. But before I did the healing, there was a part of me trying to prove my worth, a part of me that didn't feel good enough, a part of me that had to, you know, like work really hard. All of those things were wounded feminine energy. And those are what's exhausting. So I'd say, like, most women, what they're scared of is like a tyrant masculine energy that is like basically like working you to the bone and completely disconnected from your heart, your feminine, and like your true needs. So, yeah, that's scary to go back to that, right?
So what you're saying is basically a lot of women that were like worn out from being in their masculine for so long was because they weren't being led by the feminine. Like they weren't doing it from a feminine place. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, there's two. I feel like when I went there, all of my work is so nuanced. So there's 2 points here. So one, the reason they're so exhausted is because they're not actually pulling from true masculine potential and just action. They're moving from wounded parts. The part has to prove her worth, prove how good she is, try really hard. It's like it's chasing. She's trying to get her mother's approval, her dad's attention, her dad's love, you know, a man's love, whatever it is. All of that's exhausting because that's all egoic. It's not real, okay? It's not sourced in just like electric potential. The masculine is electric, the feminine's magnetic. The masculine is just like, it's just action, pure action. There's a huge difference between writing an email or writing an email and feeling like you have to try to make a sale. Right? It's like I'm
Yeah.
writing an email because I want to write an email in my business versus I have to write this email. There's a difference, right? So one is
Yeah.
exhausting. On another level, this is another thing that happens internally with a lot of women have like there could also be wounded archetypes of masculine. So one of the wounded masculine is like the weakling slash tyrant. So it's like, because you have such a weak inner masculine, he'll teeter between like weak beta, you know, no boundaries, people pleasing, you know, does whatever, doesn't feel good about himself, to boom, the tyrant, which is like a very insecure, super intense, go, whatever energy. And that tyrant is what a lot of my clients fall into. So they're like moving from these wounded places, and then they have a tyrant who's just like, go, completely disconnected from you, literally just siphoning from your feminine, just taking from her to try to get something outside of yourself. It's very egoic, right?
It's really interesting how you're
Does that make sense?
describing a lot of this, like a lot of the self-image, which is basically self-image wounds that we experience. It's really interesting how you describe it from a
Mhm.
masculine and feminine perspective, because I haven't heard of it in this way before, but it's actually really interesting when you explain it this way, because I think the biggest desire that we all have is cultivating that balance, right? It's like anytime I'm taking action, I'm always asking myself, like, am I doing it because I feel like I need to, or because I want to? Because even for me, lately, I have been playing around with this whole concept, just kind of decoding a lot of my own subconscious things around why I feel like I have to be like so responsible and like an adult, and like the idea of having fun and play and, you know, even being carefree. Apparently, subconsciously, that was playing out so long that it's not safe to. So then would you say, and I know a lot of women struggle with this too,
Mm.
would you say that is technically an masculine, like a masculine issue, like a masculine energy issue, or a feminine energy issue? Like for that example.
So you're feeling, yeah, like you're feeling like you have to be like too responsible, and you can't just like be carefree and play and like be in your feminine and receive, basically,
Yeah, I think a lot of
is what I'm
women
hearing.
struggle with this too, like especially high achievers, where they're just like not allowing themselves to have fun in what they do, even in their careers,
Yeah.
or not allow that
Yeah.
fun play and just carefreeness.
Yeah. So I would say that's probably both. That's two. That would be both sides of us. Like, that's the thing. Like in my work, it's I will always meet people wherever they're at. So it's like some people are really big on like shadow work, and I'm like, okay, that's your shadow. And then other people are really big on masculine and feminine. I'm like, cool, I'll meet you there. And then other people are really big on inner child, and it's like, okay, let's go there. But I would say like not being able to play and like just have fun and feeling like you have to just work, that's like a massive receiving issue. That's your feminine that like can't receive. So that would be like the feminine. But then on this other side, this like, you know, being responsible is good. That's good, right? A lot of women are actually not responsible enough. A lot of people, men especially as well, are not responsible enough. So responsibility is great. That's our inner masculine. But you know, like that's good. That's a good
Yeah.
quality, right? We want that.
It's a
That's actually a huge
non-negotiable.
piece of cultivating. Yeah. Yeah, 100%, right? Like we don't want to like fall backward, right? Like usually we're trying to move towards more responsibility, so that's good. I think that that's honestly, to me, like listening, that's probably a receiving, can't receive, not being allowed to rest, not being allowed to be in pleasure, and maybe even a guilt wound. And that I would all say is probably the feminine, because if I look at men out in the world, men play, men have a lot of fun, men work hard, play hard. You know, men, they set cool goals and business, right? Like they have a good time, right?
That is interesting though, because okay, let's go into the masculine now, because that is really interesting. I actually met a man
Yeah.
at the gym the other day, and I notice him all the time. He's kind of cute without the wrinkles. That's like from coming from the stress. But I didn't tell him that. But I was like, I walked up to him the other day, and I can feel energy too. And I was like, do you stress a lot? And he's like, yeah, my job stresses me out. And I just could tell that like there's like an inner child within him that like wants to like what you said, play and have fun and achieve. But he is so fucking stressed out, and I could feel it. So what, I guess, like, let's go into the masculine as far as like what creates that strong, like you said, internal masculine. What are the qualities and traits, and like what does that look like?
Yeah, like, and even just like my mind is like thinking about that man, like who's like so stressed out. I'm just like, okay, like You know, like, does he feel like he's not good enough, so he's not allowed to rest? Like, why is he like, I think of like these guys in finance, right? Like, they work so hard, and it's like, for what? Like, there's actually like, I would say that these men are completely disconnected from their feminine because they're completely disconnected from life and their true inner fulfillment and purpose and passion. You know what I mean? Like, that's not life for a man either. Like, working himself to the bone, like, that's not life. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I'd be interested to, yeah, pick his brain. And also, I'm like, I don't want to analyze. I analyze this poor guy. We have no idea, but yeah. Okay,
I'll ask him
masculine
next time I
is
go.
pro. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Ask him. Poor guy. It is. I will say, like, he probably was so like taken back by that because he's probably like, oh look, a beautiful woman walking towards me, and then you're like, are you really stressed out? And he's like, she sees through me. You know,
And that's so me.
poor
I'm
guy.
just like straight up. It's probably the New York in me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. He's like, he's gonna go get a facial or something, or like he's gonna
he
get
dyed
filler
his
or
hair.
something
He
to like.
dyed his hair. And I was like, I noticed that, like, you dyed your hair. And he was like, the first thing he asked me was like, oh, what do you think? And I was like, doesn't matter what I think. What do you think? So I automatically knew some validation thing going on over there and some other stuff. But it was just,
That's the
I was like,
masculine,
oh,
though.
you need a hug.
Yes, totally. But that is the masculine, though. Yeah. And like, you know, on a very, like, one of the really big things that I teach the girls, and we'll go into the masculine stuff, but like the masculine does need appreciation from the feminine and acceptance. So, like, when a man, like, he probably dyed his hair, like, if you and him are seeing each other at the gym, there's a high chance that he dyed his hair because of you. And like, we are here to literally appreciate our men and be like, it looks amazing, it looks great, you look so good, you know what I mean? Like, they do need that, and like, it's really sweet. And like, yeah, I saw a video the other day. The woman was like, I've been married to my husband for 15 years, and like, every night he does push-ups, and every night he looks to see if I'm watching. And like, that's
Wow.
so cute. And my man does, yeah, my man does the same thing. He's doing chin ups at the gym, and I can see him looking if I'm looking,
But isn't
because
that
they
performance energy,
need
though,
like, they need.
in a way?
Oh, no, it's like the masculine. No, the masculine like needs approval, appreciation, like he needs acceptance, appreciation, trust, and respect. This is like, these are his core needs. In the same way that we need like cherishment from the masculine, we need to feel cherished, we need to feel really special to our man, right? We need to feel seen. Like, these are like core values. So men also are like, you know, they deserve love too. And like, that's what they need. They need like appreciation. They want to feel like a man, right? And if we don't give them that, they're gonna go elsewhere. Like, that's just the reality. In the same way that if a woman is consistently like unloved and unmet and uncherished, she's not gonna be fulfilled in her relationship, right? So I think, yeah,
Okay.
like, appreciate anyone who's listening. Like, when your man does something and he's looking at you, like, give him that appreciation, because it just makes him feel so good, you
So
know?
it's really interesting that you
But
mentioned this.
I
Yeah, go ahead with the internal. I want to know
yeah.
about the internal masculine piece.
I did want to say, I just want to say one thing though. Like, I can feel, ladies, don't like, the performative thing can be real. Like, men can fall into performance too, right? So you'll be able to tell the difference between a man who's like performing versus a man who's just like very naturally like craving your appreciation and respect. Not even craving, but just like wanting your appreciation and respect. You know what I mean? Like, so if you feel that performative energy, don't doubt it. Like, trust your intuitive knowing. Because one of my clients was on a date the other day, and she's like, it was all egoic performance. Like, even just the way he was like listening to her questions and like taking really long pauses was like super performative and like very weird. Like, trust that, you know?
Yeah.
But okay.
We can tell
Yeah.
the weirdos
Yeah.
apart. Um,
That's it. Trust your intuition, ladies. Yeah.
I will be the one to be
Yeah.
like, stop doing that. It's unattractive. And then he'll be like, oh
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Like, just be yourself.
Or I'll just get up and walk
So
away.
yeah, that's it. Um, oh yeah, yeah, he'll definitely he'll get it done. Yeah. Masculine energy. Poor guy. You're just breaking all these hearts over there in Miami. Or where are you? Are you in Miami?
California, babe. I
Oh,
was
we're
in
lagging for
Miami.
a
I've
second.
been around. I'll just
Oh,
say
you're in
that.
California. Oh, you were. Okay, okay, I got it. Okay,
I've been
cool. Okay,
around.
I love that. Okay. Yeah, the That's good. I love California. Okay. Masculine energy. Do you want, like, from a feminine perspective, how to cultivate her inner masculine?
Yes, because that's what I
So
feel
she
like
can be
that's kind of
more
the
like,
core of what I want today's
cool.
podcast episode to be
Yeah.
about. Because, like, everything that even you were talking about, I was like, well, I always wanted to feel
Mhm.
that appreciation. So I guess I want to know, like, because especially in the book, you mentioned that, it's important to like look at the qualities and traits that men
Mhm.
have that you probably want or like, and to cultivate that within yourself. And so I would love to know, like, okay, so
Mhm.
what is a wounded masculine and what is
Yeah.
a healthy masculine so that we can start to identify that and why it's actually important. Like, let's get to the nitty gritty of why that piece is important.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I feel like we're going to be able to talk. I have like hours and hours of trainings on all of this, but I'm like, okay, let's start somewhere. Yeah, I think that the easiest way to sum up like a truly healthy, embodied masculine energy, and like in the same way, I teach my girls like there's multiple flavors of feminine energy. There's no one way to be feminine, there's only your way. It's the same thing with masculine men, masculinity. And again, even men, we all have feminine and masculine. Okay. So when we're looking at like a man, I just want to bring up like that. When we're looking at a man, we have to know he also has feminine qualities, just like us. Like we have both, right? And if you're like, I'm a very, like when I double check internally, when I check in with myself, and anyone listening, you can do this. You can ask yourself, what percentage of feminine am I? And what percentage of masculine am I? And you'll get a first answer.
I'll be doing that with intuition later.
And like I'm a very, yeah, what comes up for you?
I think I would say
Yeah,
I'm more
do it.
masculine.
Feel into it. Like literally feel into the left side of your body.
I feel like I'm a little bit more
Okay,
masculine
yeah.
in terms of
And
like,
then,
I want to fucking live my best life. I want to create my best life. But I also can be very feminine in terms of like, I just want to have fun in life, period.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
What are you feeling?
yeah,
Are you
totally.
feeling
And
you
so like
feeling the
as like
same?
for me,
Putting the dots together for
yeah, so
me.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, so my, like if I were, I would be wondering every time a woman comes to me who thinks that she's more masculine than feminine, I wonder if that's true or if there's like wounded aspects still at play. But
Hmm.
there's also nothing wrong. But just any woman listening, if you genuinely are more masculine than feminine, there's actually so much that we can talk about this, okay? Because even your hormonal profile, if you actually are more masculine, will lean more masculine hormones than feminine. So like being feminine is actually like super biological as well. For anyone
Yeah.
listening, let's just talk about feminine energy, then we'll jump into masculine,
Okay.
okay? You could be more masculine than feminine. Check in with yourself. I'm like genuinely 50-50. And a lot of women work with me because of that, because I feel like I'm probably one of the only feminine embodiment teachers that is like just as masculine as I am feminine. And I'm able to like imprint my masculine energy onto you. That's like why women come and work with me, because they're like, you have like daddy energy. And I'm like, yes, yes, I do. Come. Because that's how
What
the
wait, what is
masculine is,
daddy
it's
energy?
imprinted, okay?
What is daddy
Like,
energy?
yeah, like that, like
Is it like
father.
sugar daddy
It's
energy?
like father, no, like masculine, like, like leadership, like father, daddy vibes,
Oh, wait, I have that
not
too.
sugar
Okay, so
daddy.
then maybe I might be 50-50 as well. Okay, interesting. I'll look
Yeah,
into it
you'd have to
later, but
see. Yeah, yeah. And when we're looking at that though, like what we can do just for any ladies listening, like the way to become more feminine biologically, okay? Like our body biologically is meant to be in its feminine. What that means is that in any moment, in order to be truly, truly in your most feminine, natural, hormonal, soft, regulated state, you have to be able and safe to get pregnant and have a baby. That does not mean that you have to have a baby. That doesn't mean that you need to want to have kids. But your body, biologically, on a very primal level, should always feel in a state that if she were to get pregnant, she would feel completely safe financially, emotionally, physically. That is when your body will soften the most into your feminine. So, for any ladies listening, even if you don't want to have kids, you just want to set up your life in a way that your biological, the cells of your body just they rest knowing that if you did have a baby, you'd be fine. So that
So
means
safety is key.
stacking cash allows you to be more in your feminine. Safety. Yeah. So if you have a man who doesn't make you feel emotionally safe in your relationship, and if you were to, even if you don't want to have kids, if you check in with yourself and you're like, would I feel safe having a baby with this man? If the answer is no, we got to work on that relationship because you will not soften into your feminine properly, right?
Yeah.
So things to think about, okay? That's like how you can really just very naturally go into your feminine, okay?
I feel
That's
like
why,
people
like,
struggle with that though, with safety.
yeah,
I mean, I've been working on
huge.
safety for a couple of months myself, and it's been a while to get me where I am now. But even in that journey, there's still new levels of like, working on safety. And I think sometimes certain situations that we're set in can
Yeah.
make us feel safe, but it's an illusion of safety because let's say you lose the job, let's say things happen. Can you still, it's like, can you still feel safe? So where are we, how can we source that internal safety
Well,
to have us be like, huh, and play?
yeah. So you saw, yeah, 100%. And like that is the like this is why I have so many posts about how like the feminine path is the most spiritual path because like you don't have to go become a monk, you don't have to go, live in a cave for a month. You literally just have to take on a path of feminine embodiment and it's going to be the most spiritual path because that question, I love what you just said, everything is an illusion of safety. You could literally meet your dream man tomorrow. He's a multi-millionaire, billionaire, and he doesn't even have to leave you for another woman or anything. He could die, have accidentally not left anything in your name. Who knows, right? Like all of it's an illusion. You could have a job today, no job tomorrow. We have no idea, right? So the only true safety is, and the only way to truly be feminine is to truly have a relationship with your father, God, universe, source, whatever you want to call that, right? So truly claim that energy of daughter so that no matter where you go in the world, no matter what you do, you are like, I am so divinely protected and cherished. Like, I am like, there was 1 in 400 trillion chances of being born. And this energy loves me so much that it's going to like protect me and take care of me everywhere that I go. So there's that. And then having an inner masculine that actually treats you right and keeps you safe because that's what a father does, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a good
Most.
father protects his daughter from
Yeah.
bad situations,
So
right?
let's go into the internal masculine
like
then.
this is why yeah, yeah. So that's our father. So what you need to do in order to feel safe and be in your feminine is you have to have a strong inner masculine. That
Mm.
doesn't have to be ambitious, driven, money making, alpha male. Doesn't have to be any of that. What it really comes down to is being able to create a proper like kingdom for you to soften inside of. So a lot of women, they're in relationship with men or they're out in the world. And again, they're trying to externally source different things, right? They go too far in, too deep. Like my favorite example is a situationship. You sleep with a guy,
Story of
he
my
hasn't
life.
committed to you yet. He has not shown you, right? Okay, like this
That's all
girl,
I've
let's
had.
like
I've never
reel it
had a
back in. Okay, you're
relationship,
going two
just
steps too far.
situationships.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we need to chat. Okay, listen up. Okay, this is for you. This is what's
This is for
happening.
me.
This is no father. You don't have this. This is for you. This is no, and any of it. This is also like half the girls in my DMs. Okay, like there's no inner father protecting. This is the responsibility piece, right? This is like you need to have a masculine who's like, oh my gosh, I have a daughter and I'm not going to let her out with a man who has not shown her that she can trust him with her heart and her life. Like, ladies, we
Mm.
have to be so much more protective of ourselves, right? This is the thing. It's like you go into the lion's den. A situationship is a lion's den, and then you're mad at the lion for eating you. Like, why
Yeah.
did you go there, right? Why didn't we set a boundary? Why didn't we say, hey, you're super hot. I really like you. I want to get to know you. And I am not available for sharing my body until a man is going to take care of my heart. Heart first. Heart is always first. Then he can have your body, right? Because otherwise, you're basically just giving your body away without being protected. And that's not his fault. We can't even blame him. Why would he say no? You're gorgeous. Of course he's going to say yes. Hello. Every man, a beautiful woman stands in front of him. Of course he's
Yeah.
going to go for it, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, especially the probably, the girls listening, you're all like damn girls, right? It's
Yeah.
our job to protect ourselves. It's our job to be responsible for ourselves. That's our masculine.
So, how can we be
Does
able
that
to
make
do that
sense?
while still having an open heart at the same time? Because, in the book, I was actually chapter 17, I'm almost at the end of it. And chapter 17 was all around receiving. And I remember you talked about how, we don't like, there's a lot of self worth issues going on when it comes to our ability to receive and expanding our capacity to receive. So, in the event of trusting, right?
Mhm.
This other thing that I was thinking about around when you're talking about surrendering, right, to a higher power, God, source, whoever we call it to be, how can we trust ourselves in our internal masculine and making sure our internal masculine is protecting us, and at the same time trusting and surrendering into the higher power? How can we navigate those two and find the balance between the two? Because especially women that are so used to just making it happen for themselves, and to some extent they probably don't have an issue with protecting themselves in some way, even if it's wounded. The whole like God thing that you're talking about, that has been my biggest journey of like actually trusting and developing that trust even more and more. Like even though I train my intuition, it's still like a trust thing that's
Yeah.
happening of like, no, like trusting that it'll work out, trusting to be in flow, or trusting that I'll, even when I'm channeling, like getting the right answer. So it's like, how do we like surrender truly into trust and cultivate that trust between our internal masculine that we hold the key to, and the higher power and the trust in our higher
Mhm.
power?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that that's an amazing question. And I just want to say one really quick thing. Like, you cannot actually genuinely have an open heart without having a strong inner masculine protecting you. That's actually the only way for the feminine to be truly open. So, any
Mm.
other ways that women are walking through the world trying to protect themselves, they're doing it from a closed heart. And this is why men don't commit, because they can't feel your heart. They can't connect to your heart. And the only way he's going to be able to feel your heart is if you actually have the parameters to open, and that has nothing to do with him and everything to do with you setting up the proper parameters with your boundaries and making sure that your needs are met so that you can stay open, right? So just like a little like side thing, the
Mm.
process to opening to a man is you have to first become masculine. It's super funny. Like the way it is. But so the question that you're asking, like, how do you surrender to your masculine and trust your inner masculine and trust life? Well, this is the whole practice, the whole journey of a lifetime. And being in your feminine and trusting God, or whatever you want to call it, and surrendering to life, I would say is probably the deepest, scariest practice that you will be on for the rest of your life, right? Like, that's just the reality. Because it literally is a process. Like, living in your feminine, or living from your feminine, living from like your, I like the word eros, like from your aliveness, from like that, life within. It's a constant practice of just like letting go and trusting that you will be met, that you will be okay, that you will be caught, if you fall, and all of these things. And I think that so many people, there's a lot of distortion in spirituality, and I think that there's a lot of distortion in manifesting and reality creation and all these things. And I actually have a lot of posts about how I do believe that, and it's okay, but I'm going to say something that might be a little bit outlandish and might be crazy
That's what
for
we got to do
people,
here.
but
That's what this podcast
I
is
think that
about.
the practice of, yeah, and it might shake you a bit too, but like, I do think that a lot of this, the process of manifesting, is inherently very masculine. It's actually the opposite of surrender, right? It's a process of, this is what I know I want, and this is what I'm going to get, and I'm not going to stop until I get it. I'm going to do affirmations, I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to heal, and I'm going to just doing, and it's deeply, deeply masculine. And the reality is like, taking a truly feminine path involves a lot of grief, involves genuinely being open. That's the thing. Being feminine is being open to all of life. Life is going to have ups and downs and hardships and heartbreak and death and business highs and business lows, and it's going to be all over the place. And to truly be feminine is to stay open to all of it, and to trust all of it, and to have such a deep like reverence and respect for God, the universe, the external masculine, whatever we want to call it, that we trust that wherever this energy is leading us is rightful, right? It's very
Right.
entitled. Like the feminine can be so entitled to be like, I wanted a new job, or I wanted this, or I wanted this. And part of like working with the masculine and being in union is respecting the masculine's decisions. That means life's decisions, there's a timing for everything, right? So I actually think that there's like a lot of grief and a lot of ego deaths when you genuinely choose to receive and genuinely choose to trust in something higher and genuinely choose to surrender, because you're not always going to get what you want, but you're always going to get what you need.
Yeah, I agree with that part. I've lived that so many fucking times. It's like every week I'm a brand new bitch. Like just so when you're talking about like trusting in the masculine, the higher power, so how would you reframe the internal masculine? Like how can we start to reframe what the internal masculine is and what it looks like so that we can actually start to respect it, trust it, and create a healthy relationship with it so that we can allow our feminine to thrive?
Yeah. Yeah. So I find there's a couple ways that maybe people will connect with. There's like, we can imagine the conscious mind as the masculine, the unconscious mind as the feminine. I'm sure you might have already heard that. And so the conscious mind is seeding the unconscious, right? So the conscious, the masculine seeds the feminine, the unconscious, and then the feminine births our reality, right? So that's kind of the principles that we're working with here. So the conscious mind is the goal getter, the unconscious mind is the goal setter. Okay, so the way that we can look at this is like your feminine is your desire. Your feminine is like, I was talking about this on my certification call this morning. We do like a union certified practitioners, and we were talking about the desires, and the feminine desires, the desire for a bigger home, the desire for a business, the desire for marriage, for babies, for, this morning I was joking with the girls, for a fatter ass. Like that is totally allowed to be a
Hell
desire. These are
yeah!
real feminine. Yeah, right. All of us have that desire. That's
And a
it.
six
That's
pack.
a real feminine. Yeah, there you go. It's yours, baby. It's yours. That's a real feminine desire, right? And those desires are showing us who we really are. They're like if you have a desire for a six pack, like that's the truest, highest, that's your own dream girl. That's who you're meant to be, right? So those desires, that's kind of like the unconscious, like that's the goal that we're setting. Your masculine is the one who's going to go out and make it happen, right? So your masculine is the action. Your masculine is also the provision. So provision, masculine provision is not just money, it's provision. Men have this they're really good with these things. I find men are so good. You get this idea and he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. And we have to probably wait 6 months because of blah, 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 or let's do it like this. They're really good at that, right? That's our inner masculine. So whenever I'm helping my clients like set goals, become their own dream girl, things like that, I'm like, yo, let's channel your inner masculine and his provision to map out the year and map out how you want to bring these desires to life. So they're working in tandem, right? So the feminine is heard, she's seen, she's like, this is what I want. And he's like, I got you, let's go make it happen. And that's how they have to work together.
I see. Okay, that definitely makes more sense. I feel like, so in my journey, I feel like I've definitely been a go getter. So I can totally see how I have been doing things for a certain outcome or a reason and without checking in with my feminine. Or it could even be like reasons for still not feeling like I'm doing enough. I think a lot of ambitious women struggle with that part of like not feeling like they're doing enough, where it's like, they don't have a problem with the masculine, they're taking action, they know what the fuck they want, but then they have this like feeling of I'm not doing enough, I'm not getting there fast enough, things aren't working out because I'm not seeing any movement. So what would you say to women that deal with that and what that issue could be with the internal masculine and the feminine?
Yeah, so that is like just a very, like the unconscious mind always gives itself away. Like that's a part that doesn't feel good enough. So if we have these fragmented parts within our being, if a part doesn't feel good enough, it's like this empty hole. It's like an empty vessel. and you're working 12 hours, you're like pouring into it, and it's just gone because nothing will ever be enough. Whenever I have clients that are telling me I don't have enough money, I've had millionaires work with me, multimillionaires feel like they don't have enough money. It's an illusion. People, I don't have enough time, nothing I do is ever enough, not enough, not enough. Okay, you're running from a wound that isn't enough. And the thing that sucks is that when we're taking action from this empty, lacking part of ourselves that doesn't feel enough, what do we keep creating? Not enoughness over and over, right? So like this is where in my work, we literally just go heal that part that doesn't feel enough. So we're moving from the part of us that is enough. Because believe me, when you know and are embodied that you are enough, all of your action will always be more than enough because you know that, right? So any women listening, if you feel yourself saying that, like that's just right away, we got to recognize that this is just a little girl part of you that doesn't feel like she's good enough. And we got to squash that because there's a part of you that does know that you're enough, right? So that
Yeah.
one's a really clear one.
Do you
And
think
then
that is
another
more of a
question,
masculine energy issue, or is that more of
that's
a
a
feminine?
masculine.
So
That's a
how is that
masculine.
masculine?
Because it's like, that's the way that I see it. So like to me, like the feminine is worthiness, receiving. The masculine is like, is he enough to go after the things? Like even if we look at men, like if a man is on a date or dating a super beautiful woman that he doesn't feel good enough for, what does he usually do? He sabotages or he tears her down or he cheats on her. He does something. Why? Because he doesn't feel like he's enough. Now, again, like we can put them in these boxes. We can also get rid of these boxes and just be like, it's a wounded part. It's neither feminine nor masculine. It's just a fragmented part of yourself that doesn't feel good enough. But I know that my clients love like the archetypes of like, it's my masculine that doesn't feel good enough and it's my feminine. But worth is almost always feminine because worth is receiving.
I think it just helps to
Yeah,
understand
go
like
ahead.
the different behaviors of energies. And I think that's why a lot of people just kind
Yeah,
of differentiate masculine and feminine, because I think there is a little bit of truth behind like from what place am I doing something from. But like I think the biggest curiosity that I have around the whole internal masculine thing was really like what does that actually look like a healthy internal masculine, besides what you just said around like yeah, protection, boundaries, but it's like the qualities and traits. How do we know that we're moving from a healthy place versus like an unhealthy internal masculine, like knowing our masculine is not that strong? Because even things like disappointment and rejection, how can we handle that even when we're out there taking action and not let it affect
yeah,
our masculine still continuing to take that action? Because at the end of the day, we're constantly doing. So I remember even in chapter 17 you were talking about like, you know, it's all about receiving, it's not the doing, but we are technically doing every day. So it's
totally.
like
Yeah,
how do
yeah.
we kind of navigate that?
Yeah. And like, so like, let's say if somebody were to come and work with me, we would literally just go heal the part that's afraid of rejection, heal the part that whatever. And we would just be moving through these parts. But if
Mm.
you're looking at this and you're like, hey, how is my masculine meant to operate? Well, let's think of like a true king. What is a king to you? He is integrous. He's honest. He is courageous. He just like a very broad for a man to truly become king, he needs to merge crown, heart, cock. They all need, I hope I can say that on the podcast, they all need to be in alignment. That's a true king. A lot of these men are down, they're all dick basically, and a lot of those men are like these really rich entrepreneurial dudes. They're like all this like very red, primal orange, red and like orange energies. That's like entrepreneurs. Then we have these like very spiritual dudes that are all like heart chakra in the green, and they're like peace, and they're doing like these men's
Like
circles and
little
whatever.
hippies.
Or we have these magicians, yeah, like the hippie guys that wear beads and whatever. And then like they're missing a crucial point here, right? They're like crown, like they're like magician, crown, higher archetypes, and heart. And even these entrepreneurial guys, they're very big on mindset. They have a pretty open crown. They're connected, manifestation, paradigm, Bob Proctor, all these things. And then they're like very primal, but they're not in the heart. So the guys that go up to the heart, they have to go back down and reclaim their like warrior, masculine, lover, warrior energy and archetypes. And then these entrepreneurial dudes that are very masculine, right? They have a lot of the qualities that you like, but they're very emotionally unavailable. They have to go through, they have to move up their chakra system and then go through a heart chakra awakening, then go back down, reclaim, and then they'll have completed. So the spiritual dudes are like almost finished their completion, their cycle, their ascension cycle. The entrepreneurial dudes, they still have a long way to go, ladies. Okay, so, sorry, but
That's a lot of my
I know that a lot of you girls
situationships.
love these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're missing this awakening, but you, as a divine feminine, have the potential, if you embody more of your heart and are more emotionally available and move more from embodiment, you literally, in the presence of you, he could awaken his heart. Like, that's the beauty of like magical, awakened, embodied women, is that we awaken these men, you know?
So how do we apply that concept to our own union?
Yeah. Well, like I mean, some of you, I remember when I was going through some of my awakening years and years ago, I was like, oh, I'm totally one of these orange, red entrepreneurial dudes. Like, I was like totally emotionally unavailable to my feminine, and I was like, wow, I'm one of those guys. I was just like literally going to the US, going to networking events, like making so much money. I was just like, bah, like just like such a man. And I was like, wow, this is like crazy. So, the awakening that you have to go through for a man internally within your masculine is you have to awaken to your shadow. You have to go into your shadows. You have to awaken to your shadow. The judgment, the rejection, the not enoughness, all of these wounded parts of you, you have to reclaim them, heal them. And then you have to reclaim your feminine heart. So you need to claim your inner feminine. Like, that's really the process internally. So you have to become emotionally available enough to your feminine, to your heart, to your desires. And then your masculine has to become courageous enough. Like, I want you to commit no more situationships, because your inner masculine is going to decide that he has a sword in hand and he's going to protect you, and he's going to put you and your heart above a connection with a man. That's the problem here with women, right? Like, if a man is not putting you above his ego, it's because you're not putting yourself above your own wounded parts of you, right?
Yeah, that
So
makes
that's like
sense.
really what
Definitely.
it is. Like, we have to go through this. Yeah,
It makes sense of the whole
yeah.
inside out world
We can.
situation of how it shows up in our lives, and like the whole internal. I think I'm understanding the whole concept of the internal and masculine now, of like it's really just us, like all the qualities, all the traits, all the things that we would admire in a man or would want to create in our lives, like that is what we need to embody and need to develop within ourselves so that we got our own backs essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. And like find union internally within yourself. So, like, your relationship with yourself, like your inner masculine is so utterly in love and obsessed with you, and he's protecting you. And he will literally only, like, he will make sure that the only thing that comes near you is that which will literally mirror and reflect back the relationship that you have going on internally, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's his job.
So then
Yeah. And his responsibility.
my ultimate question and curiosity, one of the biggest things that I've learned about my soul and one of the biggest skill sets around has been around magnetism. And I've had people always fucking tell me like you're magnetic. I've never really realized it. But what essentially, like
Yeah.
how can an ambitious woman be magnetic while still achieving all her goals that she desires to achieve? Like how can she really step into that magnetic frequency and energy while having that
Yeah.
union balance situation going on from like the actions she takes and the
Yeah.
things that she does.
Yeah. To me, like, and the reason why I would feel that you probably always get that, and like I can totally see that, is like I feel like you, from what I know of you, you seem like courageous enough to be yourself. Like, it seems like you don't really care whether people like you or not. And that is what makes someone really magnetic, because you've literally decided,
So that's really interesting because a big part of my like some of my one of my reoccurring soul lessons and like a big part of this has been not good enough. So a lot of the things like it's interesting, like I have been comfortable being able to be myself like what you just said, but then there's also moments where I haven't.
Yeah.
And like I've been working on that for so
Yeah.
long and like healing my self-worth and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. So it's interesting that you picked that up.
So then imagine your magnetism once you like literally embody your worth and choose yourself on like a whole new level. Because that's really what being magnetic is. It's like you are just so in your being, you are so in choice of yourself above anything else. Like you walk into a room, you don't care whether they like you make a post, you're like, this is bomb. Like that's magnetic. Like when you don't need people to like you, people love you. When you don't need people to choose you, people literally like, that's like when women are being run after by every dude, it's usually because she doesn't even want a man, right? Like that is what's so magnetic, because you're just so full of yourself, not in like a conceited way, but like of yourself, capital S. Like you're so full of like who you truly are. And it's like truth. Like people love that truth. They're so like magnetized by that because everybody wants that, right? So it's like, girl, your magnetism is going to be like off the charts, you know? Like once you, but you're also very charismatic, right? But like all of that's going to be off the charts, right?
Better watch out. I'm gonna take your man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna be that girl, but okay, so I want to like obviously wrap this up because I really value and respect your time, but I have a very juicy question that has been something that has been always a deep desire of mine, but also something that I notice not a lot of people like talk about in the world, and it's all around female friendships and like sisterhood and female
Mhm.
friendships. And so applying everything that you talk about in
Yeah.
union, something that I've noticed in my journey is that, definitely as a leader myself, I've noticed that I have found a lot of like in my past being the one to like initiate, being the one to like hold shit down and being the one that everybody always comes to for advice or whatever, right? And it's great, but I've definitely like being in this journey, I've definitely had this desire to instead be like you said, that magnetic person where I'm always chosen, I'm prioritized, I'm put first, like people are loving on me and giving to me, and I'm the friend that the friends want to be around, right? Like I'm not the one doing all the work, like they're kind of doing the work, whatever. So
Yeah.
how, like, I guess, how do women create that balance between each other, because it's kind of like a feminine and a feminine coming together? How does, like, I know you talk about polarity too and you're big on that, like how do we create a union and balance between female friendships, because especially, like even with women in general, like the wounded feminine parts of us, like women can sometimes be catty sometimes, or they can feel jealous sometimes, or they can kind of go that end too, which I've experienced. So like
Yeah.
how does this
Yeah,
apply for female
100%.
friendships, because I've been super curious about that, and I don't feel like there's not a lot of
Yeah.
content around friendships, and that's like I'm dedicated to like fucking nailing this shit down and getting to the bottom of it.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's like I actually think that like sisterhood is so important, and like it's such a crazy thing because like it comes up a lot for the girls when they're joining union. They're like scared because it's a group container, and I'm like, no, believe me, like the intimacy that you're gonna build with the other women is what's gonna create the foundation for the intimacy with your man. And like men will never be able to see us like a man, my man, as much as he tries to empathize me, he will never know what it is to have like a womb, to give birth, to bleed every single month. He will never understand what it is to be a woman. He will never see me the way that my sisters see me, right? So there's like so much beauty and power in that, in the same way that your sisters will never see you in the way that your man is going to see you, right? Because he sees you like so differently, right? So it's super beautiful.
Yeah,
So I love that you're bringing this
friendships
up.
is like everything to
So
me, it's so
yeah,
important.
yeah, I think it is. I think that that's actually something any women listening, like, I think a large reason why a lot of women are unhappy in their romantic relationships is because they don't have enough girlfriends. Like, I was telling one of my clients, I'm like, when I wake up, I'm not thinking about whether my man sends me a good morning text or not, because I'm literally instantly messaging my two best friends. Like, we're the ones who talk all day because that's just how women are, right? So, like, it's just so
Females
nice. Like, I
first.
think that, yeah, like, but it's like, I'm not concerned. Like, I'm so fulfilled by my girls, and like, he'll message me when he messages me, and that's it, right? Okay, like, if I was listening to someone who says that they're the ones kind of like holding the relationship, a female friendship, that to me would just tell me that it's the same energy with men. You're probably more comfortable being in the doing, more comfortable in your masculine, and maybe don't yet feel worthy of like being pursued and being chosen. So that would be like something to look at. But on a polarity aspect, we don't have to worry about that, because women with women like men, the reason why polarity is so important with men is because men siphon women's energy. Like men, we're like a battery. Like in Tantra, the masculine and feminine, like they recharge each other, and the masculine literally takes from the feminine. This is why if he's not pouring into you, you're just being
Huh.
depleted, right? This is why I actually don't believe, yeah, like I'm like not a fan of male and female friendships. A lot of people, won't agree with me there, but like if you do have a male female friendship, it's like very,
They always want you. They just know they can't have
brother.
you.
Well, that's it. Like to me, that is just very distorted. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I just don't agree with it at all. And also, it's like they get so much value from our energy, from our insight, from everything. And like the feminine's the yin, right? Right? Like it's like literally it's life force energy, and we overflow, and it literally fills the masculine. The masculine has to consciously pour into us for us to be we're
Interesting.
not filled by the masculine, we're filled, yeah,
Even if a
we're
man
filled by
has
life,
developed
we're
his
filled with
internal
ourselves.
feminine, even if a man has developed his
Then
internal
maybe, yeah, then maybe he's like meeting you very emotionally, you know
Okay.
and he's pouring into you emotionally, he's seeing you at a very deep emotional level, but even then, like again, he's pouring into you in some way. And that's what I want to say is like with women, because we're all so emotionally available and attuned, the relationship is just so much more reciprocated. With your girls, you don't have to worry about this because women are wired. We love and we think of others. Like that's what we do. Like women, we love so freely. Men have to like go out of themselves to like love and pour into someone, okay? Like they're very self-centered. We are very like other focused. Like we are literally wired for multiple nervous systems. This is why with men we have to kind of like titrate our energy, manage where we put our energy, allow them to give to us before we give back, right? There's more rules with men because of the polarity and how the energies work together. But with your girls, it's like, you're so beautiful. I love you so much. You're so beautiful. I love you so much. One of you holds each other through something hard. The other one holds each other. Like it's reciprocal, right?
Yeah. I
Which
think
is
I
why
would
it's so
say now
beautiful.
it's been like
Yeah.
that more than ever. But before, I've definitely felt like I've had a lot of betrayal, a lot of abandonment with female
Yeah.
friendships. And I think it's been obviously part of my
Yeah.
purpose to figure that out. But I think that's what created a
Yeah.
lot of like
Yeah.
kind of like what creates is that what creates the jealousy and like the comparison that can pop up with female friendships? Because I know that's very like common for a lot of female friendships and women too, and that dynamic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. That would be yeah. Um I feel like that's kind of like a biological thing that we have to work against, because if we look in like the animal kingdom, it's like every woman wants like the strongest male, right? Like everyone, and it's like men don't need women, okay? Like men could realistically, like he could go like eat at a restaurant all the time. He could go like hire someone to take care of him. Like he doesn't actually need a woman unless he wants to reproduce. And like the feminine, in back in the day, like we need men to protect us, like we do, so we're just wired very differently. So because of that like biological urge to like have the best mate for the best offspring and be protected, I feel like the shadowy aspect of the feminine, if we don't do the work, is comparing our all of these like very, yeah, like low vibrational traits. I used to experience a lot of this. I have so many, I was telling the girls in union a couple weeks ago, like the crazy things that I've had happen with women. I feel like a lot of women play out mother wounds with each other, mother wounds, sister wounds, and then there's a lot of this, like, God forbid another woman's beautiful, she's going to take your man and all these things, right? So I feel like there's so many of these wounded things. So we have to get to a really healthy and secure place as women to have other women in our lives. I'm like super tired right now. I'm like, I can't even talk anymore. And I think it's important to have like conscious friendships, like I think it's okay. Like if you have a girlfriend who's like, whoa, I was feeling a little bit jealous, like, and she can be honest and real with you, or like, like, and you guys can talk it out. I think that female friendships can bring, I actually find, I'm like going on so many tangents, but like this divine sacred union thing, you can experience it with a girlfriend. Like I have my man who mirrors divine connection and divine counterpart. And then I have one of my girlfriends. We literally move through divine counterpart. Like we heal stuff that is like for our relationship together, because we're just both so willing to go so deep. And when you're going that deep with somebody, you're inevitably going to have stuff come up. So I think it's just like, yeah, man, call in higher level girls to move through this stuff together, you know, like we're all human, right?
That's something I notice is at this point in my life too, like emotional availability is like non-negotiable. Like I got to be able to feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
telling you I'm jealous and us talking about it. Like period. So,
Yeah. Well, and yeah, and like I will say like personally, like I do not have anyone in my field who is jealous of me, who can't celebrate me, who you know, has any competitiveness with me or compares herself to me. All of those things are extremely shadowy, and like for myself, I just like instantly, like the girls in my world are like very high vibrational, and like if we're getting into like tiffs, it's like about like none of those topics, because those topics are really like they're unsafe. Like it's super unsafe, right? So like any women listening, if you still have some of that stuff, there's literally no shame, no judgment, but it's like definitely work on, this is why I love becoming your own dream girl. Work on becoming your own dream girl so that you don't, when you become your own dream girl, jealousy goes away, comparison goes
yeah.
away, because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, no one's me, you know? And then
Yeah.
you can celebrate each other, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've definitely been diving more into like what cultivates feeling special because deep down we all want to just feel special. Like underneath every single thing we desire, every single thing we want, we just want to feel special because we know we are. So I can definitely see that. And I could also see how the internal masculine why developing that internal masculine is so important even for that because again, you got your own back. So it's like making sure you're doing
Yeah,
the self-image work to develop that strong, groundedness within you, whatever the word is.
totally.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
security. Yeah, exactly. I love
Security.
it. Yeah.
And there's always going to be new levels too. And I
Yeah.
also want to preface that point is that, you will
Oh,
feel new levels of jealousy or comparison. Whatever it is, it's never going to actually 100% go away. But I do think that you'll have better tools to like, navigate that and like heal that within you. Whatever you got to do to shift that within you before, we all just kind of act on our emotions and go crazy because that's a whole nother thing.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and like anyone listening, like there's for sure, like I do, you know, in my work and in my world, like I can genuinely say that through the work that I do with women and through the same work that I do with myself, there are issues that I've dealt with that I've never felt again. Like that is very real, and like it is very real potential. Like you can genuinely heal certain things that are not core wounds till the point where like they're gone, like completely. Like you're like, whoa, I can't believe I used to feel that way, right? And then yeah, there are core wounds like unworthiness and not enoughness. Like wow, that's like a merry-go-round, and like every new level you got to go
New
deeper and
level.
deeper. And anyone,
Yeah.
yeah, new level, new devil. And it's just like love yourself through it because it's like a lifelong journey and you're doing amazing. And like even just the fact that anyone's listening to this and doing the
Yeah.
work, like you're doing amazing.
Yeah,
You
because
know? Yeah.
most people are asleep. We don't know when they're gonna
That's
wake
it.
up, but that's their own journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's like tough. Like, you know, being feminine is giving yourself grace and love and compassion and forgiveness and being really gentle with yourself and be like, wow, like, oh, you repeated that pattern. It's okay because you're still trying to heal it and you're doing your best. And I love you so much. Like, that's like what we need, you know?
yeah.
So,
I've
yeah,
really
I
been
love that.
working on that lately, and just accomplishments has come up for me a lot, and just recognizing my accomplishments and all of that stuff. So it's been really cool. Yeah. Oh my
Amazing.
God.
I love that. Yeah.
Thank you so much for just taking the time to share your wisdom. And I feel like I learned a lot. I'm gonna have to like re-listen because I feel like you dropped a lot of gems on like even the whole internal masculine aspect. Like what I understood of it before coming into this podcast and like after this interview, I feel like I definitely like you kind of just gave me a better viewpoint on union and what the fuck that is, and like kind of even getting rid of the label of it and just like being more of myself. It's really just authenticity and just being more of who you are and allowing yourself to be who you are and just showing up as that person. So I feel like that's kind of like
Yeah.
what I got from it. For anybody watching, definitely check out Kelsey's book called From Chasing to Chosen. I honestly, girl, I have to tell you right now because I haven't even talked to you about this before. I love the way you wrote it because it feels like you're talking to me, and it feels like you're storytelling, but in a way where it's like I'm having a conversation with you, because I can get bored real quick, like reading books that are just so like textbooky. And so I love how you laid out this book, and like you kind of
Yeah.
also get straight to the point with things, so everything's not like super extended. I love the little journal prompts in here. I did like every single one of them, so it's been really, really fun. But
I
for
love
anybody
that.
listening, where can, if someone wanted to work with you and kind of dive into your world, where can people best find you and connect with you?
Yeah, thank you so much. And I love that. And thank you. It's so weird, like putting a book out into the world. It's like such a vulnerable, scary process. And you're like, like I love it, but also it's like, what are people gonna, yeah, like you're just like, are
The
people
whole
gonna like
thing.
it too? So I love that. Yeah, and I love how
It's
the publishers put
inspiring.
the journal prompts. So yeah,
It's inspiring because I'm
thank
like
you.
looking at you, like writing this book, and I know you worked with hundreds and hundreds of women. I'm like, yeah, like it's easy. Like we can all do it. Like it inspired me in a way of like maybe in the future, but I
Oh,
love the way that it was
yeah, I
written.
love that. Thank you. I love that. Yeah. So my Instagram would probably be the easiest place. And I know you're just going to tag because my
Yeah,
last
I'll
name
put
is really hard
everything
to
in the
say. So
description
just
box.
Kelsey and
Yeah.
yeah, find me on Instagram, send me a DM, and then if not, yeah, that would be the easiest way to get in touch with me for sure. And I would love to hear like any big aha moments. Like I really love when you ladies message me and tell me what came up for you. So please, yeah, like just tell me like, oh my gosh, I had this moment, or I'm saying no to situation shifts, or whatever it is. Like tell me what
Girl,
came
I've
up
been
on the,
saying no to.
yeah,
I mean, I've been
message me.
celibate for so long too. That's a whole nother story. I've been saying no. I'm like the kind of
That's
person where like I know
that's
what the
great.
fuck I want, and you either have it or you don't at this point.
Yeah,
But that took a lot of healing.
totally.
So
Yeah. 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 And I want to hear stories like that. So, girls, send me a message. I want to hear that too. And I think it's so amazing. And I love that you're celibate right now. I think that that's incredible. Like, keep that divine feminine energy to yourself until the
I
right
mean, you
man
never
comes and
know. I
claims
could
you.
meet somebody tomorrow, and I really like them, and I just want to have some fun, and then there we go. You know, like. But I'm in control. Like I'm
But no,
actually making
no.
that conscious decision. It's
Yes.
not the other way around of me like
Yes.
wanting to feel touched and like special and chosen and all these things.
Yeah, that's the difference. That's literally the difference. Yeah, I love it. Do you,
Yeah.
girl. Do what
You
you
got
got
to
to
have a
do.
good
But
toy
yes,
at
this was
home
so
too.
amazing. Yes, Thank
It
a hundred
helps.
percent. Yeah, you're hilarious. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Everybody, everything is going to be in the description box below for you guys to connect with Chelsea. And also, I know that your program runs evergreen, right? So if anybody's interested in union in your program,
Yeah,
they can reach
yeah,
out to you about it.
yeah. I also have a brand new monthly membership, which is like
Oh,
a really great, it's like 57 USD per month. So it's super easy. So that too. So just send me a message, find me on Instagram, and yeah, let's connect. Thank you so much.
awesome. Thank you so much, girl.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, bye.